Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Argenti, and I'm going to kind of experiment here and see how well this does. But something I thought about is, it's going to be hard to do character guides because I don't want to pull all the characters and build them, but they do have the trials, right, where I can just try out the characters. So I'm going to try to do the character guide based on the trial character and see if that works, and I think we'll be able to get it done, right? So in this video, we're going to take a look at Argenti's kit and talk about what he does. And then we're going to talk about his best light cones, his relics, and how you should build them, and kind of team building around him, right? How should we build a team with Argenti in it, right? So let's go ahead and start with his kit. So in general, Argenti is a physical erudition character. These erudition characters typically are either follow-up characters or like to do AoE damage. Argenti is definitely in that AoE camp. He is an AoE damage dealer, and I think in a AoE fight, like the more enemies, the more impressive this guy is going to look. He's going to be crazy. You get 3, 4, 5, like even, I think 5 enemies might be the most you can have on the screen, maybe 6, but you get a fight where you're capped out on enemies. This guy's looking really crazy, actually, right? So he's got a basic attack that just scales on his attack, right? Nothing too crazy there. Now his skill just says deals physical damage, based on a multiplier of his attack to all enemies, but no other special effect, right? So the skill seems like, well, that doesn't seem very good. Why? It's just AoE damage, but nothing else. Well, the reason why is because of his talent. So we're going to talk about his talents in a minute, but let's go to the ultimate next. So the ultimate, he's going to do different things scaled on how much energy you spend to do it. So based on how much energy you have banked up, right? So the weaker version is going to consume 90 energy, and it's just going to do physical damage to all enemies. However, if you have 180 energy, you're going to do damage to all enemies with a much higher multiplier, and you get 6 extra HP dumps or damaging attacks to a random enemy, which is very nice. You're going to get some extra damage down, and you'll notice the difference because he does like a little bonus animation when you get the bigger version of his ultimate. Now, I think what makes Argenti unique and good is his talent. His talent is kind of crazy. So the very first part you read there is basically for every enemy that he hits, and it could be basic attack, skill, ultimate, whatever. If Argenti touches them, he regenerates 3 energy per enemy hit. So why this is crazy is when you have a big AoE fight with a lot of enemies, he's regenning so much energy that his ultimates are flowing like crazy. And what you're hopefully going to see here, because I've done it in a couple of trials with him, he will actually be able to use his ultimate on back-to-back turns if you want to. Now, you might have the strong ultimate followed up by the weaker one, so you may choose to gather more energy and do double stronger ones. That's going to be kind of up to you if you want to do that. And then the other thing he does is he gets a stack of a unique buff called Apotheosis, and this Apotheosis, as he gets more stacks, increases his crit rate, and you can stack that up to 10 times. So as he stands right here, he can get up to 20% extra crit rate, which is good on a damage dealer, right? And when you're talking about damage dealer, crit rate and crit damage are very important stats that you have to try to balance. So anytime we saw this with Jinglu, that having built-in crit rate is really important because it allows you to put a little bit more into crit damage, which is going to give you a lot more overall damage, right? So the fact that he's got some built-in crit rate, I think, is good because it may allow you to go a little bit more into crit damage in some areas, right? And then some other bonus things is he is going to immediately start with the stack of the Apotheosis, which is great. And then when enemy targets enter battle, immediately regenerates 2 energy for itself. So if a new enemy like enters the battle, he just gets energy like for them appearing, right? And then he deals 15% more damage while they are less than 50% HP. So the weaker the enemies are, the more damage he's going to do. So kind of one of your strats is if you're doing a team, while you have your other supports or whatever on the team, they might be poking away doing a little bit of damage. You might want to spread that damage out, get a bunch of enemies under 50%, and then Argenti can go crazy and just like blow them all up, right? Kind of crazy what you could do there with this guy. I think in an AoE fight, I think is really where he's going to shine. And then he's got his map technique, right? This is what he'll use on the map screen before you go into battle. So he's going to hit the enemies and inflict them with a dazed debuff. It's kind of like a paralyzed. They won't be able to attack you, which is really, really nice. And then he is going to regenerate a bunch of energy. So it's going to give him like a head start on his energy regen. So that's kind of the theme with him. He's an AoE damage dealer, but he can really regen the energy and really just spam his ultimates. And that's kind of what Argenti is about, right? So with that, let's go ahead and let's look at the light cones. Now, by the way, this is the sample build that they give us. So what you can kind of look forward when you're looking at the trial builds, look at it as like a very good solid build, but know that if you actually pulled Argenti and built him, you could probably build him a little bit better. And so just whatever numbers you see, know that they can be improved upon, especially if you get more dupes, right? Now, the sample character, of course, they're going to show off the light cone because they want you to summon it, but this is indeed his best light cone. It's called an instance before a gaze. Increases his crit damage, which is good, like just big fat crit damage. That's really going to help the damage. And then when he uses the ultimate, it increases the ultimate damage based on their max energy, right? And this guy's all about energy regen and having a bunch of energy, so that's going to be really good there. And then each point of energy will increase the ultimate damage by a certain percentage up to 180 points of energy. So basically, the more energy this guy has stored up, the more damage you do, and then when you pop that big ultimate, you're getting the max boost off of this. So it is crazy, right? Now there's another 5-star one that would probably be like up there as a top tier one called Before Dawn. If you happen to have that one, you definitely could throw that down. It's another crit damage up, so obviously that's what we're trying to promote there, and it increases ultimate damage, which is very good on him, right? I think your 4-star options, you could do Today is Another Peaceful Day. This is going to increase the wearer's damage based on max energy, which once again, I think max energy is kind of a theme with Argenti because he can regen so much and he's got a high max energy pool. I think that is good on him, and then his damage will increase per point of energy, right? So I think that is probably the best 4-star to put on him because energy is kind of a big part of his kit, and it's going to really help the damage. So I'd say for 4-star, do Today is Another Peaceful Day if you have it. There's another one called Genius's Repose, which could be decent as well. I would say there's a fair drop off from this one to the other ones, though. I think the other ones are kind of like a cut above this one. This is just going to be a generic attack and crit damage up, so still very solid. And then the Seriousness of Breakfast, this is the one with Pom Pom on it. This is just going to increase your damage. And then every time you defeat an enemy, you're just going to do an attack up. Definitely that one would be your lowest priority, but if you're desperate and you just need to put something on them, that's what you would put on. So those are kind of the light cones. Next, let's go ahead and look at relics. Now, once again, this is the sample build, but I do feel like they do have the best relic set on him, which is the Champion of Streetwise Boxing. This is the physical damage set, right? Which you definitely want for him. He's a damage dealer. He does physical. It definitely makes sense. The 4-star set says after the wearer attacks or is hit, their attack increases by 5% for the rest of the battle, and you can stack that up to 5 times. So basically, you're going to get physical damage up and a 25% attack up once you get that stacked up, right? So pretty good there. Now, you could do, say, like, you could combo it with, like, the speed set, and you could just do, like, a 2-set physical damage, 10%, and then it get a speed up. So if you want him to be a little bit faster, you could do that. Or you could just do, like, a physical attack up by comboing it with the Wild Wheat set. But I feel like you get a lot out of having the full 4-piece set, so that's honestly what I would go with there. And then on the ornaments, so they went with the, here, let me go. Well, oh, can I not actually click on it? Hold on. Oh, so they have the inert salsado one. So it's a crit rate set, right? And then it says when the wearer's crit rate reaches 50% or higher, the ultimate and follow-up attack damage go up by 15%. That's definitely a solid set you can get, but we just got like a new set that I actually think is pretty good on him. The Firmament, it's the Firmament Frontline Glaymoth one. So it's like an attack up on the 2-piece set, but on the 4-piece set, it's kind of like a speed combo. And I'm actually thinking of building this one up for Sela, because I think this one would be good on Sela also. But it's if you get your speed to a certain threshold, you just deal more damage. And this is a really nice ornament set. I think a lot of people are going to like rebuild this for previous characters because speed is a stat you kind of want to focus on a lot of damage dealers anyways. And then this set rewards you with more damage for building speed. So I think that is actually a really nice set you could do on them. And then I do also like the Rudolent Arena one. This is another crit rate one, but this says when you get your crit rate to 70% or higher, you get the basic attack and skill damage up. I think this is a set I currently have on Jinglu. I think any of those sets are like definitely solid on him. So once again, there's the 2 crit rate sets, which are decent. And then the Firmament Frontline one, which is the speed one, and you get damage on speed. I think that one would probably be his best one. I think it'd be really fun to try on him. Because once again, Argenti with speed is deadly because he's regenerating so much energy so fast. And when he's spamming ultimates, he's not using skill uses. So it's actually efficient on skill uses as well. And he can just dish out a bunch of damage really quick. So I would definitely go the speed set there, right? So in terms of what you want to focus on the relic slots, and I don't know, like I actually can't like look at these. These are the sample ones. So I don't know what they have on their main percentages. But on the body, I'd say you want either crit rate or crit damage. And this is going to be kind of like the standard build for any damage dealer. It really depends on what stats you're getting in your other relics. But I would say try to aim for whatever. So like if you're able to get yourself to like 60-70% crit rate without having crit rate on the body slot, then do crit damage. But if you're finding with the rest of the relics and your substats and you're really struggling with crit rate, you might need to put crit rate on the body just to give you that baseline you need to get that crit rate, right? But I usually aim for like 60-70% base crit rate is pretty good, depending on how much the character can build in their kit. And remember, Argenti does have about 20% or so crit rate. It looks like he can get in his kit. So with him, you might aim for just like a 50% base crit rate. And then if you can do that without using the body slot for it, then maybe go crit damage there, right? Feet, I would 100% go speed on the feet. If you can't get speed, I think attack is always a decent substitute. On the planner sphere, you want physical damage. That's obviously what he's doing. And then the link rope, I think energy, regen rate, or attack are good there. I think both are fine stats. Energy regen rate's kind of tempting because he's already regenning like crazy, but to do it even more could be good. But it could almost be overkill on him because he does regen it so well already. So you may want to lean attack there on the link rope, right? So anyways, with that, let's go ahead and I guess we can talk team build here. I'm going to kind of ignore the team build they have on the trial screen here. But in terms of how do you team build with this guy, basically the core of building a team is you need a DPS and a sustain character, and then you can fill with other roles depending on what you're trying to do, right? So I would start with Argenti, and then you want some type of healer. So if you're doing more of a physical build, I think Natasha is definitely a fine healer you can run there. Or depending on what colors you're running, I think Lynx, Bailu, any of those standard healers are going to work just fine. Then what you could do in your other two slots, I would either run a Nihility character to debuff, or I would run a Harmony character to buff, or both. So ideally, if you want to bring the most out of Argenti, you would bring a debuffer and a Harmony character together, and then you have your sustain, and that's kind of a standard team build. We would call that the hyper carry build, right? So your Harmony character could be someone like Ting Yun, could be Branya, could be Hanya. So I think Hanya is actually a really good Harmony you could run with him, especially if you're going with more of a full physical team build. I think Silverwolf is your best Nihility character by far. She's going to be able to implant physical weakness on the enemies for you to make sure Argenti's hitting weakness. But I think Pela is also Pela is your go-to best Nihility character 4-star by far. So I would say if you have Pela or Silverwolf, that's going to be kind of like your main Nihility character for your defense shredding, your debuffing. And then once again, Harmony, it depends on who you got. But if you're summoning for Argenti, you're going to have Hanya. So I think ultimately you've got Hanya there as a nice option as well. So what they're giving me here is they're giving me 3 out of the 4 pieces, right? They're giving me Ting Yun for the Harmony support. They're giving me Natasha for the healer. They're just not giving me a 4th character, right? So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and show this guy off. So we're going to do the map skill. Once again, this dazes the enemy, and then I'm free to go in and attack with another character if I want to, but we'll just go in with Argenti. We've got physical weakness. So the enemies are dazed. They're going to go ahead and, once again, just overview the skills there, but we'll go ahead and just try them out. So we're going to go ahead and support Argenti to make him look good. That's what Ting Yun does. And then we're just going to do AoE. Now watch his gauge, right where it says the word trial. That's his ultimate. That's where he's getting the energy. Let's watch the energy just blow up when I hit this AoE. Look at it. It just blew up, right? And you can see there is a second gauge filling around the outside. So I could opt to use him now and then do it again. So just to show off how crazy this is, and this fight's about to explode immediately, right? But let's hit his ultimate, right? Now watch this. Remember, he regens on the ultimate as well, so he's going to expend the energy to do the ultimate, but then he's going to gain energy back, and his animations are pretty cool too. Look at that, instantly has another ultimate up. So he's a character that he doesn't just get the ultimate, but he can rebuild a second set of the ultimate. So you can see there is a light ring around the outside that if we fill that up again, we could do an ultimate. So right now, I could just spam another ultimate back to back if I want to. But what I'm going to do is I am going to opt to let him build that up so we can see the big ultimate. So let's AoE again. And then bam, that outer part is just like really filling up. We're going to let it build up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to let these enemies attack. We're going to get that ultimate really built up for him. Okay, actually, I think this is the last wave, isn't it? They're just going to die here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a single target just to get some more energy. And then I'm going to pop the big ultimate. So we'll check this out here. Big ultimate. Bam. And then, the enemy, shoot, I should have waited for this wave because the enemies died, but he had a second, like he had more damage coming. Now we can do Ting Yun just to artificially give him more. So let's do that. And then she's going to attack. And then we're actually going to heal here with Natasha. Perfect. And then we're going to do an AoE with Argenti, get more energy and try it again. So let's AoE again. Look, just his energy is crazy. Let's pop it. Just so much damage, right? And look at him. He's already like almost full on another one again. Like his regen is crazy and he can just keep spamming ultimates. And by the way, we haven't even seen the strong version of the ultimate yet. And yeah, good. He can keep summoning enemies. Like in fights like this, where they're going to keep pouring on the ads, that's very good. Okay, I think he's got it. Okay, he's got it. Don't die on me. All right, here's the big ultimate. Let's see it this time. So you're going to see an extra little animation here. Just a little bit more damage on the end and just absolutely obliterated. So there you go. That's Argenti in a nutshell. Pretty basic, but this guy, like I said, in an AoE fight, is going to look really, really impressive. Personally, he's not my cup of tea because I don't want a character that's going to rely on AoE. I'd rather have a character that's better in single target and can still do really well in AoE that has a little bit more versatility. But if you want an AoE specialist, this guy's going to be crazy. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Argenti. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.